Hello all, good morning. Well, it's already 10:30 and participants are joining in. So I think we should wait for another 5 minutes. We'll start the session at 10:35.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
What is the some adjustment that Miss Gauri Pandey told me to do some adjustment regarding to avoid that anatoms or something like that. There is some adjustment that she told me.
Adjustment. We'll confirm, sir.
Confirm.
Sir, we will let you know
Ah,
after sharing your screen.
okay, okay. Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Kunal and I would like your valuable inputs regarding absence skills.
I'm pretty amazed that an institution from India is taking such a big leap towards catching the students young and growing them big in the world of knowledge. I think in this industry.
Thank you, sir. Coming to my first question, what are the various technologies that your organization and the various areas in which these technologies are used?
I put it in a simpler form. We Bentley Systems are an engineering software company that supports the professional needs of those who manage the world's infrastructure. World's infrastructure as in road skyscrapers, bridges, metro lanes, and any construction activities. And we deliver solutions that manage the entire life cycle of an asset and
Sir, how does your organization reach the students?
I would say no technology or solution is complete till they reach out to those who are learners today. We have a special mission called as Bentley Institute. The mission of Bentley Institute is to advance professions. When I say advanced professions, advancing the professions means catching the students younger and ensuring that they learn while they're learning the alphabet of engineering. We also work in consultation with the industry and collaborating with the academic institutions world over, ensuring that there is continuous learning platform provided to the students across the world.
Sir, and after the students are learning the certifications or training, what are the various career paths or job prospects that the students can get into?
The floor that you and I are standing on is a part of the construction. Right
Hello.
is a part of the career path for the engineers that come to us. The road that you and I traveled this morning on, reaching while it was pouring heavily, also is a part of the infrastructure development. So just to name about 3 or 4, these are a few areas where your students can get into if they're already qualified.
Basically, it's as versatile as it can get.
It could get even better.
So coming to my last question, you must have collaborated with a lot of institutes. How was your experience with APSIT? What do you think about this initiative that the organization has taken?
Amazing. As I call it as APSIT, APSIT, right? Bentley, being headquartered out of the US and being present in about 60 plus countries, works with the likes of IITs in India, Stanford's in the US, Massachusetts, and institutes of that kind. I'm very happy and excited to see that APSIT is getting to that level in providing a great platform for the students who are studying.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Have a nice day.
Hello all. A very good morning and a warm welcome to one and all. On behalf of Department of Civil Engineering of AP Shah Institute of Technology, I, Tanuja Vinsurkar, welcome you all to the third day of online faculty development program on emerging trends in civil engineering. I appreciate to all the participants for their timely and enthusiastic response to all the sessions. We already have our today's speaker, Dr. V.B. Deshmukh sir, with us. Hello, sir.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah.
Now, without taking much of the time, a very short instruction to all. A feedback link will be provided at 1:30 p.m. and it will be live till 3 p.m. And the feedback is mandatory for the attendance purpose, and also the FDP certificate will be provided over 80% attendance only. So let's begin our FDP for the day. Today's first session is on pile foundation for shoring system and will be delivered by our speaker, Dr. V.B. Deshmukh sir. Dr. V.B. Deshmukh obtained his PhD from IIT Bombay in 2010 and master's degree from Sardar Patel College of Engineering, Mumbai University. He has received the prestigious award of Leonard's Best PhD Thesis in 2012 at IGC 2012 Roorkee. He is currently working as Associate Professor in Structural Engineering Department at VJTI Mumbai. He has supervised one PhD and 30 MTech students. He is the member of High Rise Committee, MCGM Mumbai and TMC Thane. He was also a member of Mumbai Heritage and also the Senate member of Mumbai India City from 2010 to 2015. He was Secretary of Indian Geotechnical Society, IGS, and presently he is Treasurer for the same. Sir is very renowned geotechnical consultant in Mumbai, and he completed many prestigious consultancies such as Mumbai Metro Rail Corporation, MMRDA, PWD, MCGM, TMC, and many more. With this, I now invite Dr. V.B. Deshmukh sir to the FDP and request him to enlighten us with his knowledge.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, can you see the screen now?
Yes, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
there is an echo from your side. A bit echo from your side.
Let's check. Is it okay now?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, I'm using a headphone, so I hope there should not be any problem.
Okay, sir, you can proceed, sir.
Yeah. So can I start now? Yeah.
Yes, sir, yes. Sir.
Okay. So good morning, all of you, and thank you very much, this AP Shah Institute of Technology organizing committee for inviting me for this lecture. This your 5 days FDB program, and I am earlier also I visited the institute for the similar purpose, and now there is another chance, but this is online. Okay. So today's topic is pile foundation for basement shoring and the high-rise buildings. So there are actually the two small topics which I connected. One is for the shoring and second is for the foundations. Okay. So why the shoring is important? Let us see. In metros like Mumbai and even in the Thane, there is a little space available for more constructions, and all the big structures are going up and up, so their height is increasing. Okay, so another problem is that the space, as height increases, the horizontal space required more, and because of this paucity of the space, particularly like metros like Mumbai, you have to go down the deep. Okay, so because you have many adjacent structures, many adjacent buildings, so therefore you need the space for the parking, sometimes for the go down, sometimes for the any additional purpose, and therefore there are many restrictions also. Because of that, we cannot go high and high. Okay, so some of the restriction in this slide I mentioned that the aerial restriction. You must have seen some of the portion in the funnel area, like in Santa Cruz or particularly in our BKC, you'll find that the height of the building in BKC is not more than suppose 20 to 25 stories, but in Santa Cruz is not even 6 to 7 stories, okay, particularly in Milan subway and all. So there is a restriction. And if the structures are going to be particularly the rebuild, a redevelopment, and they have a FSI, but the height is restricted, so they have to go down. Okay, so at least this parking space or other purpose, space for other purpose, you need to provide below the ground level. Other problems are with the power transmission lines. When the power transmission line, not the small transmission lines, when they are the nearby, then height is another problem, because there should be a minimum clear distance between these high tension lines and their influence zone. Another way is the defense building, and very important buildings where you cannot rise above them. Okay, the view should be restricted. So because of that also, your height of the building is restricted. You must have heard one of the building in the Kolaba side, which was earlier under the defense, and when it was handed over to the residential purpose, then there was an issue because they were very close. And another problem is that when there is no open space for the stable slopes, okay, that is another reason that why these the basements are required. When you have a space, you can make it a stable ground, and therefore you can have you can avoid the special structure required, retaining structure required for the shoring, like for example, like a shoring. So these are some of the reasons why we go for the basement with the shoring. Okay, so the shoring term defines a system that function to retain the material, basically. That deep excavation is required to accommodate the services and car park due to the constraint of the space area. Underground activities like metro constructions, this is one of the important topic, because we'll see some of the case studies when the structure, a building is very close to the metro, and there how these basements are specially protected. Excavation shall be carried out in slope if suitable space is available. As I said, in absence of that, retention elements are provided, means retention structures are required. So these are some of the photographs how the retention structures or the shoring, what we call it, required for the basement. So you can see below the ground level it is excavated, and at the corner you can see here that this is a particular type of retaining structures. Okay, mostly they are in the form of a pipe. In this photograph, this is called as a panel. We'll discuss in detail. Here you can see this is mostly the structure in the metro stations, especially where we go deep and deep, and all the retaining structures supports, they are provided from inside as a struts. Okay, so these are some of the photograph shows the basements. See the schematic step of this enabling system of construction, means how this is constructed. Okay, first the entire boundary or where we require the basement is outlined with the help of this pile. So piles are driven, they are casted basically. In Mumbai mostly we use a casted, driven is not allowed because of its vibrations to the adjacent structures. So first the holes are drilled to the required depth based on the strata and embedment, etc. And then the piles are constructed across the boundary. It runs across the boundaries. So these piles may be a different types that we'll see. Mostly a touch pile or having some gap also. Okay. After the entire boundary is covered with this pile, then the excavation starts. You can see here. Okay, with this say forklift type machine, the excavation starts. So once this excavation is reach to the first level, okay, then you'll find that the first level of anchors are constructed. You can see this is called as a top level anchor. okay, because it has to support. And as we go down, the free length cantilever portion of this pile, which are constructed in row, is increasing. Okay, so sometimes when we reach to the another bottom level, so there another anchor level is required. Okay, in this figure I shown only one anchor, so two anchors may be required depending upon the its length and design. And after that the excavation level is reached, that bed level is reached, then the foundation may be pile foundation, maybe rough foundation is constructed. Okay, and then the building is constructed. So this is how the basement sequence is made. You see these are different types of this shoring system. Okay, so first is called as a soldier pile, and this is a very common and temporary type. Okay, not much used in big basements. So they are also they're known as lagging walls and constructed by driving this H beam or I sections. Spacing varies about 2 to 2.5 or more also. And these are mostly cantilever or sometimes support also placed. So they are purely for a temporary so retaining structures. Sometimes you want to retain a temporary backfields. Okay, sometimes to protect the structure. Okay, not really taking the much load. Okay, and this is not a permanent, so it has to be removed once you are the basement is reached. And most of the time the depth of basement is very small on this. You can see in the 3D also how these columns are injected, but they need a foundations, and then panel runs through this to support is the backfill on other sides. That's why it is called as a temporary. Uh, the second pile type. So this is also very useful, and it is quite extensively used in metros, particularly like the Mumbai. And this is a form by constructing and alternating a primary and secondary pile. Okay, you can see the left side down figure. Uh, First, this unreinforced type, the back side you can see. Okay, these piles are constructed with a spacing. Okay, maybe it is a 200 or 300 depending upon the diameter. So first unreinforced piles are constructed after drilling the hole and then casted just like a cast in situ pile. And after that another drilling is carried out with the help of in a center pile that we can see here. So here mostly the auger is used, and drilling is carried out in a soil space between these two, as well as the drilling is with the unreinforced section of the earlier pile called as primary pile. So you get another big void here. Okay, and this is continued across the length, and then again the this pile is clean, the tip is clean, and then reinforcement is lowered, and then the concreting is carried out. Okay, so after that you'll find that there is no gap between the primary and the secondary pile, or unreinforced and the reinforced pile. Okay, so it is completely watertight. So this type of the structure is used particularly when you require to restrict the flow of water. Okay, this is required in the areas, particularly say the areas where water table is very high and the top layer is mostly a sandy or the clay. Okay, for example, in a Girgaon side or some of the portion in the other side, because earlier these islands were filled up, and when it was filled up, there is a most of the a granular material or fine material, and water table is very high. So there is all possibility, because the leakage is very important. Otherwise, when we excavate for the basement, you can see in the another photographs, when you excavate for a basement, the entire basement is filled up with the water. It's like a swimming pool, very difficult to construct. Okay, so on the top, once you cast the pile, a capping beam is, this is RCC beam is provided. Okay, so it also hold the position of all this pile. Okay, and they are supported on every pile and in the end pile. So this is called as a second pile. This is called a tangent pile, or in local language we call it also a touch pile. Okay, So this type of shoring system is also very useful, and it is extensively used. Okay, particularly in the region uh, where there is no groundwater table, or even the groundwater table is there, but the soil is comparatively a steep, like a steep clay or a murum type of soil. So the possibility of the leakage is rare, or it is very less. Now you can see here there is only one type of pile. First, the hole is made. The minimum diameter is generally the 300 mm, and maximum nowadays is 1.2 meter also. Okay, mostly auger drilling is permitted in urban areas to avoid the vibrations, and the adjacent pile is again it is drilled. Once the drilling is completed for 2-3 piles, not all, then it is the tip is clean. Okay, and then the concreting is done quickly. Nowadays RMC is used, so as soon as the voids are made, the holes are made, it should be within 1 or 2 hours, it should be refilled. Otherwise, there is a loose soil start falling at the base, and that is called as a soft core. So you get a not end bearing crop. Okay, so when you form this, like for example, this is 300 mm diameter pile, and center to center, suppose a 400 mm, it means you get a clear gap between the two pile is a 10 centimeter, 100 mm. So in a photographs, you can see a 100. There is a gap. This gap is a 100 mm pile. Okay. So here the advantage is, as compared to this the second pile, that it is very quick, as there is no unreinforced and reinforced. All are the reinforced pile. Okay, the speed is very fast, and the second thing is that quite useful. Particularly, even the water table is there, but if it is not soil is not like a liquid in that area, it is very useful. But in case of a soft, very soft clay, this type of pile generally not used, because once this muck, or what we call as soft clay, and the water start entering, the adjacent structure also shows the settlement. Okay, and there is a failure. Last year there was one big failure. Okay, in Vadara side. So because that the huge the clay part along with the water that moves in. Okay, and there is a danger to the adjacent structures. You see the cross section of a one single pile along with this anchor. These anchors are provided at a certain spacing along the length. Okay, maybe 3 meter or 4 meter. Okay, and they passes in between the two piles. Okay, small portion is drilled, just like a cover of the pile is drilled. Cover is very high, 70 mm is minimum required, and then inclined hole is made. Again, the DTH machine or drilling, auger drilling is used, and then it is the tip is again clean, and the reinforcements are inserted in this anchor. Okay, this hole is comparatively less. Suppose this is 300 mm, then this may be 115 mm. And after the reinforcement is inserted, then it is concreted or generally grouted, because concreting may use some voids. The most important part is that this anchor should goes in a rock level. In a soil level, if it is terminated in soil, then it will not provide that much anchorage. Okay, so that is the necessity, and this is confirmed while drilling. The material which you get from that, it is confirmed that the anchor is entered in the rock. Okay, opposite side, you can see once these anchors are constructed, then excavation is started, and this is the basement level. The bottommost level of the pile is called as the embedment. So this act as a retaining structure along with this anchor. So they provide a stability. This is the surrounding soil. If you see the free body diagram, then this pile has to support the retaining structure, as well as there is sometimes there is a loading. Okay, because most of time on the top surface, okay, you can see at the top surface of this side, there is stacking of material, or there is a possibility of some labor camps. So, or sometime adjacent structure is very close, then that load needs to be considered, and its equivalent horizontal earth force necessary to it consider in the design. So another type, this is a very common and used from the ancient time, that is called as a sheet pile. And the sheet pile, you can have a cantilever type or with the support called it as a bulkhead. And you can see here, these are the sections provided. These initially the alternate sections are driven, and for driving it required a hammer. Either a vibratory hammer is required or a gravity hammer is required, but that gives some vibrations. So these are useful when the big infra project is there and non-urban areas, very useful. But this also system is useful for the water tightness. Okay, but comparatively the cost is the higher. Second thing is that it for a offshore structure, this there is a problem of the corrosion. So therefore, the concreting is necessary on the front side. Okay. So the cost is one issue. Driving is another issue, particularly in the metro concerns. Okay. So that's why in a metro areas this is rarely used. Another way is like a diaphragm wall. It is just like a solid wall, you can see here. Okay, it is a concrete or slurry wall, contains RCC wall. It is constructed in a panel. Okay, and it is totally a water resistance. Okay, and another problem is that the depth may be a issue. Generally 8 to 10 meter is sufficient, but beyond that there is some issue. But this system is very useful when there is a complete water tightness is required. This is the cantilever type of shoring. Okay, earlier section I shown the anchor, but you can see there is no anchor. Okay, generally anchor is provided around 2 to 3 meter from this capping beam. This is the capping beam. It runs continuously, and these piles with a gap. So this is called as tangent or touch pile. But here in the below, suppose this is the final level, then at least 1/3 is minimum required. Okay, of course it has to be designed, and it should go in a rock. So it provides just like our fixed cantilever beam. Okay, right hand photographs you can see here. This brown color indicate there is a gap between the two piles. Okay. Another type of the construction you can see here is a cantilever meter panel. Okay, this was a concept was in the 80s and 90s, which was brought by another famous person, later Dr. V.T. Ganpule, who was a great consultant and was very much connected with the academics also. And he developed that system that instead of a circular pipe, they use a small rectangle, a 1 meter panel. Okay, but the panel cannot go directly in a rectangular shape. Why we cannot prepare? So therefore, the holes were prepared together. Okay, in that close to each other, and those their boundaries were clear, and finally a void of a rectangular section is available, and then the in situ concreting is done. This system was very famous that time. Okay, you can see here, particularly for the storm drainage, to outline this boundary, this system was very useful, because it is a 1 meter, so therefore it runs very quickly and it is faster, and therefore many times there was in a rainy season, there was all possibility that this water, this storm water used to enter in the adjacent areas, mostly slum areas, and there are all possibility of the submergence. So to avoid that, this system was very useful. It covered the less width, and the construction technique is very simple. And another most important one is it's a speedy one. But today this system is not much useful. Many reasons behind that. The first reason was that somehow Dr. Ganpule did not took any patent for that, and that's why it was extensively used by the people without any quality, and there was some issues with respect to the stability, and that's why later on this was not used. Okay. This system you can see now with the strut. Now there is no anchor, and support is from the front side, instead of on the back side with the anchor in the front side. You can see a typical section here. You are providing a struts. So these are the struts you can see here, or this like a metro station. You can see the strut inside. Okay, the strut inside. Okay. So this is the necessity. Why? Because when we provide an anchor, so there are possibility that it may disturb the adjacent structure, particularly the foundation of adjacent structure. And though we provide an inclination, but that possibility is always there. So therefore, and nowadays many people, they know, or the adjacent societies also aware about these anchors, so they do not allow. So therefore, instead of providing anchor on the back side, struts are provided at a different levels also. Okay, at the top or at different levels. Okay, on the front side. The one disadvantage is that the mobility of this instrument is reduced. Okay, so that's why they have to design at least minimum 5 meter and the more supports. Okay, the system is very famous after this metro station. All the metro station, they use a technique called as cut and cover. So there they use these struts instead of these anchors. Okay, and later on also we are also asking the contractors and the developers to use the same system. Okay, because that provide a safety to the adjacent structure. You can see another view for the metro stations. You can see the many the struts. Okay, and they are provided at the end called as a with the post, just like a king post. Okay, and they generally they run end to end, but when the length is more, then many times they provide with a central column facility to support the this system, shoring system. Okay, another way is a top-down panel method is used. Okay, here this method is useful when there is already a part of a small rise area or a small hill type area. Okay, where at the bottom you required a construction for the building, and this was a natural actually cut, and because of this cut means it has a stable slope, but to use that area, their boundary may be at the plot boundary may be at the top, so vertical cuts were made, and to support that panels are used. Okay, the system is similar to the earlier, but panels are constructed from top to bottom, and each panel is supported with the help of, you can see, the anchors. So these are the anchor goes inside. Okay, I'll show you this one of the case study which we did in the Kalyan. Okay, so there is a society already existing, and this was a small hill portion. Okay, and adjacent boundary actually is at the top. So developer wants to use the entire area. He doesn't want to keep a stable slope. Okay, because the plot area is already small, and he can't sacrifice that that area. So therefore, we made a vertical cut, but a stepwise cut was made, and then cast in situ panels were casted here, and one each like a pin. This was the anchor was constructed, and this goes opposite side without disturbing the foundation for this adjacent society. And the entire was a rock, okay, maybe weathered rock and the hard rock. The length of anchor required were less, so you will find many anchors. Okay, and then this is the from this boundary, here the raft for the adjacent structure is this project is in progress. So what are the challenges in these deep excavations? Restriction of the movements. Okay, you don't have much space to move, particularly the outer side you have a very less space. Okay, for the mobility, the inadequate space for the equipment. When you provide suppose a strut, then again it reduces. Soil rock is a heterogeneity is there. You observe that in a small plot of 40 meter, the one end you get a rock at the top called, we call it an outcrop, and other end you'll find a weathered, highly weathered soil or murum about 4 to 5 meter within a 40 meter plot. So that heterogeneity creates many problems. The seasonal fluctuation of groundwater table. This is one of the most important part, because if you know, you must have read in the newspaper, most of the failure of this shoring is in the rainy seasons. Every rainy season there are one or two failures in a particularly Mumbai side. Okay, so why? Because the water enters in the backfill and exert the pressure, sometimes statically, sometimes also produce a dynamic effect. The last year failure in Vadala also produces some dynamic effect, and entire water body when moves inside and struck the this shoring system, then it provide it reduces its stability. So that is the most important part. So therefore, we always insist that in a design, always consider the water table. Though during the investigation you don't find the water. Okay. Surcharge loading of the adjacent structure is very important. Adjacent structure, it is the old structure, new structure. The thing is that there are the many restrictions. Even the this developer is not allowed, contractor is not allowed to go on the other side. No drawings are available about the adjacent structure. Many times we don't know what is the type of foundation for adjacent structure, because when we have to provide a anchor, there we require these details. Okay, so if it is very close, then we have to consider the surcharge of that building and how much lateral additional force it transfer. Okay, that is necessary in the design. And dynamic load due to traffic is also necessary. Okay, particularly on the high, the structure, the basements adjacent to the highways. Okay, earlier there were some double deckers were moving, so that was a lot of the vibration to the adjacent structures. So those uh, forces needs to be considered in the design. This table gives a choice of system, which system we should use, and at what type of strata. Okay, so let us see, when it is a sandy or silty strata for entire depth, the best way to use a large diameter touching pile. You may use 1 meter, 1.2 meter diameter pile. Then you can use a second pile, as earlier we have seen that the two piles are together, so there was a leak. To avoid the leakage of water, then this type of system is very useful. When there is a soft clay, when there is a soft clay, then for most of the portion in the pile, then second pile is very useful, or diaphragm walls are very useful, because the water tightness is the main important. Okay, or large diameter piles are very useful. But this micro pile concept means the pile diameter less than 300 mm generally not recommended, because that there are two possibilities. First is the flow of the water, and second is the stability also, the issues. Of course, in all the systems, we require the anchors. These anchors are also a pre-stress many times. Okay, so the smaller sections are used, which provide a larger pull-out capacity. Similarly, if it is a filled up ground for a maximum depth, okay, then pneumatically drilled micropiles are used. Here the micropiles are used because water ingressment is not important here, and soil is like a stable ground. Okay, so therefore the smaller diameter piles are sufficient with the piston anchor. Okay, if you see, the design methodology is very simple, like the basic concept goes in earth pressure, and all of you know, which we are studied in our undergraduate curriculum, which is like a concept of the sheet piles. Okay, it may be cantilever or with a support on a as a okay. So this system is already a very simple system. Analysis is given like active pressure and passive pressure on opposite sides. It's a deflected diagram. Okay, this is a basic part of the curriculum. That is the concept used for finding the earth pressure, lateral pressure on the shoring system. Okay, so all these concepts already you know. So now we'll move to the first case study. Okay, this is the case study in the Thane near this junction, Majivade, and it's a high-rise structure. Height is around you can see 32 residential floors, 3 basements, means around 12-meter depth basement is required. And these are the details for the shoring pile. Here the touch piles are used or tangent piles are used with a gap of 10 centimeter, 300 mm pile, and 400 mm center to center, means distance, clear distance is 10 centimeter. Depth is 3 meter, means the piles were embedded for a 3 meter below in M25 and 30 grade. That is the minimum requirement. Okay, these are for the anchor details. You will find this anchor details. Its capacity was designed to the 85 ton. Okay, there are 2 level anchors, first level and second level. The diameter of this drilling for the anchor was 115, smaller diameter, with the free length 5 meter and 7 meter. What is the free length? You can see this figure. This is the rock portion and this is the soil portion. If I draw a failure line, the concept in our earth pressure, okay, 45 minus 5 by 2, okay. So if there is any movement, this block will move downward, okay. So therefore, this we call an active and this is called as a passive. So this will not move. So it means this length is not much useful because this will also move downward. So anchor, when I provide, this is the length is useful, which will tie back this system. So that's why the fixed length is very, very important, and it must go to the a rock for the anchorage. Okay, many failures were observed when this fixed length in the soil. Okay, so that doesn't provide a necessary bonding, a bond stress, and therefore there is the failures. Okay, they are the steel used. They are using small strands instead of the bars. Okay, 7 strands or 8 strands. Inclination of the So you can see this is the layout. It's a big plot, okay, and you'll find that there is a boundary here, okay, and this boundary inside there are the many buildings. The proposed buildings are now with these 8A and 9, okay, and others are this one, okay. This green line you can see is the boundary, okay, and here they want a basement, entire basement, okay, inside for all the buildings. So the touch piles were carried out along this green line for an entire length, and after that, after the construction touch pile, then excavations were started. Okay, so you find on one side there is a road, other side also road, but another side you find the building. So this was very close. Okay, so therefore planning of the anchor is not necessary. Okay, so in order to avoid any interaction with the adjacent building foundation. So this is the cross section. So 2 level anchors were designed. The piles are terminated around 13.5 meter shoring pile, okay, and basement excavation for a 12 meter, okay. So first level anchor generally provided 3 to 3.5 meter from the top, or the interface between the first level, layer and second layer. Mostly the first layer is a filled up soil. Second layer may be a weathered rock, murum, or the clay. So as this length is more, so therefore 2 level anchors are required. Now why this first level anchor is necessary? Because even I can design the system with a 1 anchor also. But it is observed that because of this rainwater, which produces some like a dynamic effect, there are the cases that this top portion 2 or 3 per meter, it was failed in shear. Literally it is into 2 pieces, where the bottom pile is in the intact portions. Avoid that, the first level anchor we generally encourage to provide at the 3 to 2 to 3 meters. Okay. Uh, you can see the investigation details. Okay, 3 boreholes. See, as per the guidelines, like our high-rise guideline, maybe in Mumbai or the Thane, minimum 3 boreholes are recommended, and they also confirm with the codal provision or the standards. Okay, so every structures, even they are a separate wing, minimum 3 boreholes must be necessary. Okay, so you'll find that for these different buildings. So total 6 and 7 boreholes were drilled. You'll find out one special things. These are the old boreholes, 15 meter, and one borehole goes close to the 30 meters. Why like this? Because in the old guidelines, it was 15 meter is sufficient in a borehole drilling for the investigation. But the new code has come for a tall structure like 16700, and there it is mentioned that is 30 meter, the investigation must go up to 30 meter. So therefore, we ask the contractor or developer to at least have some pile, okay, or additional boreholes, which should be close to the 30 meter because of the requirement. So if you see this a borehole, the top portion is filling up to 2 meter, and then the murum type for 1.5 meter. Then the weather rock starts after the 2 meter. Okay, and you can see here in a weather rock. Why? Because you can see the first column core recovery is very poor. Okay, totally fragmented rock, and below that you'll find comparatively a strong layer. Okay, this borehole is terminated is around 30 meter, close to 30 meter. See, after 7 meter you'll find it is a very hard rock, because this core recovery is increases, and most important is the RQD. Okay, so this gives you the quality of the rock, and 40% to, you can see, for the 60 to 80% at around 15 meter. So our pile is terminated around 13 meter. Okay, near to that. Okay, so that was in a very hard rock, but excavation was carried out in around say, I think 12 meter in a this filled up soil and weather rock. So there are the multi layers, but for analysis we consider the first 3 layers. So the first layer is the fill, then second is that highly weathered rock, and third level, third is a hard rock below 7.5 meter. For hard rock, you can see the capacity is very high, 216 kg per cm square. Its density is also very high. Another important part is the porosity. The voids in the rocks are very less. So this gives you the lesser permeability. Okay, the leakage will be the less, definitely. Now, for the analysis purpose, entire this profile is divided into 3 layers: filled up soil, then weathered rock, highly weathered, and third is a hard rock. Okay. The most important, you can see the modulus of elasticity. Okay, is increased in 10 folds or more than 100 folds. Okay, Poisson's ratio, you'll find as it is a soil and fragmented rock, very high, but it is just like with highly compact rock, it is very close to the concrete, 0.2. Okay, so if you see the strength is very high. Okay, for a hard rock. In an upper rock is very less. Okay, so cohesion is almost nil, and but angle of internal friction is very high. Okay, so here this value is not necessary to be 40. It can be reduced. Okay, dilation coefficient means how it expands, the volume of the this layer expands. Okay, so that value varies from 30 to 10 to 30. You'll find in a rock it is very less. Modeling procedure, here we use a software, and that is this basically a Plaxis 2D modeling is used. Okay, total area considered, that is called a continuum, is a very huge, 45 in horizontal direction, 24 in a vertical direction, and triangular plane elements, 15 nodal areas were used, more column concept was used, and you can see the this modeling. These piles are very close, so they form like a plate element for entire length of the plot. Okay, so it is considered as a plate element. Anchor is considered as a node-to-node element because these anchors are at a certain horizontal spacing of 3 meter to 3.5 meter, whereas these piles are continuous. Okay, with a gap of 10 centimeter. So further details from this software point of view, the modulus, Poisson's ratios, and all these details. Okay, so these are the details which are input. Okay, further details for the anchor. You can see the anchor also. It is a mostly the material used. It's elastic, but the material used here in this case it is a grout, and in a we call it as a GP2 grout. Okay, and these anchors are spaced around the horizontal direction. It is 3.2 meters center to center, and 2 level anchors. Okay, so these are the further details for this ground body, and this is how um, a geometry is first given, and then material properties given. Okay, uh, first geometry, and then material properties are given to the pile, anchors, and this the soil. Okay, then interface properties are given. That is very useful. But what is the advantage here? The Plaxis 2D is very user friendly. Automatically it adjusts the interface property. Therefore, not much expert person is also required. All a general person is also can use and do the this design. Okay, so this software 2D and 3D is also available nowadays. Almost all the consultant is having this, but unfortunately the institute do not have this because cost is very high, more than 15 lakhs. Okay. Now how the steps are there? The steps are exactly the same as a construction sequence. Okay, how this meshing is done. First, the piles are installed. All the piles are installed along the periphery, and excavation is done up to first level, like 3 meter, 3.5 meter, and first level anchor is constructed. Then again excavation is carried out. Okay, below that 3 meter up to 7.5 meter, and second level anchor is then constructed, and then the excavation is completed up to the basement, that is 12 meter. And this pile was earlier terminated around 13.5 meters. So this was the embedment. The support to this pile is this embedment and these two anchors. This is pile displacement, how it varies with the water table and without water table. This is the very important issues, particularly many people, they do not consider the water level because they don't found that during the investigation, or sometimes they consider water level, but actually it is not there. Because many times in Mumbai and Thane area, we get a surface drainage, which may not be an actual groundwater. So for that, you have to test this for the 24 hours. You have to remove the water and then check the borehole after 24 hours. Okay, if it's completely filled up, then you can say it is a groundwater table. Okay, so because of water table, the huge water column exert the pressure, and that exert the that add the pressure and displacement also. So you can see the 91 mm displacement at the top. Okay, and when no water table, it is the 70 mm. Okay, now this displacement, you may feel that is very high. Yes, it is very high, but it is a system on which there is no vertical loads, only the lateral loads are there, and this is to retain the boundary. So therefore, from serviceability point of view, 100 mm generally considered is a sufficient. Okay, and it also depend upon how much space available on the backfill type, other sides. Okay, if the adjacent boundary is there, then this has to restrict it up to the 50 mm. If it is open plot on open space is there, okay, the surrounding, then you can have a more deflection also. Similarly,
Sir,
you can yes, okay.
hello, sir. Actually,
Hi.
I'm very sorry to interrupt.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Can you wind up in next 5 minutes?
Okay. I'll take the 10 minutes.
Okay,
I'll
sir. Take
stop
10
to.
minutes, then we'll
Yes.
proceed for question
Yeah.
answer session.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
So this is the bending moment. You can see it is the maximum at the top. Okay. Then this is the meshing details, and then you can see here when there is a deflection, how it deflects at the top. Okay. And you can see this is what's important. You can see the deflection is maximum, the red one. It is around the this gives around the 80, close to the 85 mm. Okay, which is maximum at the tip, minimum at the bottom. As there is a lateral displacement, there is a vertical displacement also. So this value is less, you can see at the top. Okay, and these are the details how you can see the maximum displacement at the top, where the shear force and bending moments are maximum along the length of the pile up to the termination level. Okay, now we'll move to the second case study. This is a case study. This is not for showing. This is for the foundation. You can see this is in the Dadar area, very close to the this Shivaji Park area. This is the here Shiva Sena Bhavan. Okay, and this red line indicates two metro tunnels already in place. Okay, and this structure is around 100-meter height, around 35 floors. Okay, so it is very close to the tunnel, and here the question was whether the building will transfer the load on tunnel or not. That we have to check. Piles used for 600 to 1200 mm. Now this is the picture you can see. These two tunnels are very close, 3.3 meter radius. Okay, and the clear distance is 6 meter from this project. Vertical distance clear is 3 to 3.5 project, and rail level is at the bottom. Okay, you can see there is a sand at the top, and because the other portion is very close to the sea. Okay, and therefore you'll find there is a water and sandy levels. Okay, rock is there up to 9.5 meters below. There was no basement, but it was necessary to have a the pile. No basement allowed because of the tunnels. Okay, here the abacus was used instead of the plexus because this was a like a research tech level project. Okay, abacus take a very huge time. This required around 3 to 4 months as compared to the ready-made software. You can see the formation of this tunnel on left hand side, footprints and the meshing. Okay, and now you can see the result of this. So there is no stress transfer on the tunnel. Okay, so that was the requirement. So it was a stress developed 415 kilo per 412 kilo per Pascal, and you can see it is at the tip but not interacting with the tunnel. So that was the advantage. So these tunnels, metro tunnels were safe. Okay, that is because of this proper structure. Similarly, displacement at the maximum at the top because it is in the soil, the minimum at the bottom. So again, there is no interaction with the tunnel. This is also compared with the consultant software with the Plaxis, and it is observed that the displacement is quite close, 4 mm and 5 mm. Okay, so therefore the result was there was no much interaction with this. Okay, second case study is also similar to that. I will directly come to the situation here. Here the building was actually planned exactly on the tunnel, but there was a requirement again that the zero stress transfer. So therefore these piles were, instead of hanging, it was directly taken between the two tunnels so that no stress transfer because of the end bearing or the shaft one. Okay, so this was a very typical case in Mumbai. Okay, for the high-rise structure in the central Mumbai. This is the modeling part. You can see the tunnels and the building in the top. And this is the another one. This is in the Bangalore, but here 3D software will use. You can see the outline shows a boundary with so here the shoring is required in outer boundaries. Okay, and this is excavated for the basement. So you can see the cross section. This is the basement, 7.5 meter, and the shoring piles up to 10 meter, and the anchor. It is quite a flat anchor because sufficient space is available. Okay, another view. And here the 3D Plaxis is, that is the advantage. You can see that it is modeled in the 3 dimensions and anchors in all directions behind this also. Okay, this is the x direction, the movement we'll see in the 3D. We can see the advantage of 3D is that you get actually maximum deflection in the center and less in the ends. So that is the advantage which we miss out in the 2D. Okay, you can see the deflected shape. Okay, here maximum is 17 mm. Okay, at the top, and it is at the center and less at the ends. So this clear picture you get it in the 3D. Similarly, the bending moment is maximum in the center, minimum at the bottom. Okay, and for the bending moment also you can see the 3D. So this gives the advantage of reorientation of your anchor spacing. That is the advantage. Okay, so this is general conclusion on that. Now I'll try to show this and wind up. There are many failure takes place. I'll try to show you the video how the failure has taken place. It was in the last year in central Mumbai. You can see this the piling. There is no anchor provided in the pile at the top. Okay, you can see already is moving. You can see this it is moving. It is bending. Okay, and this labor camp is the labor camp was evacuated. Machines were also evacuated, and then there was the failure. I'll just fast forward this. See, you can see now. Again, it is bent. You can see the ring beam, the capping beam. You can see it is further bending, and you can see the crack to the capping beam at the center, and the soil is going out, and quickly is going to fail now. You can see now it's going to fail now in shortly. You can see the failure is at the center. Yeah. You see entire failure. It is in the central part. That is not at the end, because first thing, there was no anchor provided. That may be one reason, or it was designed but maybe developer has missed out. Okay. So these are the general conclusion. What are the most important things that we should see while in shoring constructions? Anchors are necessary. Okay, when pile length is generally greater than 8 to 10 meter, first level anchor should be provided within 3 to 4 meters. See, in the earlier case, no anchor and it was failed because the cantilever was much more. The struts are necessary on the opposite side when there is no possibility for providing anchors. Okay. Secant piles are very useful when you want a water tightness system. No water is allowed in the basement. 3D analysis actually useful, which can reorient your the system. Particularly, you can reorient your design system. Okay, but any software, successful operation of software or success of the software depends upon the accurate, extensive testing and soil investigation. I must thank to my colleagues who are also consulted involved in these projects. Okay, mostly they are the high-rise projects. They are the leading persons from the Mumbai. They do it Mumbai and all over in India. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
We are getting very much appreciation for your session. Each and every participant is saying that the session was very informative.
Yes,
And
thank you very much. Yeah.
And again, there are many questions. So shall we take the question answers?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. So the very first question from Jagtap sir.
Yeah.
What is the most challenging real world offshore construction related problem, and how it can be solved?
Offshore related, when it comes to offshore related, the challenges is the construction of the platform. Jack-up platform is the one of the from geotechnical point of view I'm talking, because you need a system to be completely stable, or you have to divert the water. Okay, rockfill dams and all, sometimes not possible. You have to design the pontoon system and you have to construct the platform. And the most important is the length of the pile, and there the additional forces are there because of the water body. Wave forces are there. They are really the challenging one. Okay, So offshore designing is a completely totally different scheme, different design rather than our onshore system. Hopefully, I give an answer in short.
Okay, so the next question from number ETCE 30. What is the special criteria or point to be noted down about pile foundation when dealing with hydraulic structures like weir or dams?
Okay. Pile foundation, you say in a dam or nearby dam? That is
Weir,
one question.
weir or
Weir, weir. Okay, weir. So when it is a weir and you are providing the system like this, okay, there another important issue is with respect to the water tightness. That is the most important thing. Okay, because if the drain, if the leakage or the downstream side, if the discharge is, the stability of that structure is really in the danger. Okay, so first thing is that you have to minimize that downstream side discharge. Okay, so for that you have to put the proper cutoff, and that cutoff maybe in terms of pile or conventional system in terms of a sheet pile, which really protect a down a flow from the foundation. Okay, that is the first thing. And in the upper part, you can use the a regular weir construction or even the same system, but there you need to have a sheet piling to protect the discharge from upstream to downstream.
okay. The next question from Yogesh Kanade sir.
Yeah.
Which type of shoring is more suitable in pile foundation in black cotton soils?
Okay, so concept of the piling is same in the black cotton soil. Like we study that under rim piles are very useful. Okay, shoring system also it is necessary for the same system under rim pile. Okay, is necessary. Okay, but the most important part in the black cotton soil, particularly for the shoring, is the retention of the particularly water. And second thing is that the expansion and the contraction of the soil mass. Okay, so if it is a small system which you are providing, okay, for like a plot in a black cotton soil, better to you should have a small I'll say the stabilization you carry out for smaller depth, or you can have a small replacement also for a smaller depth, or the different modern techniques also given. Later Professor R.K. Katti has given the good insight on this. He developed a CNS material concept, okay, for the top layers, that also you can use to control the volume, change in the volume during the wetting and drying side.
Okay.
I think,
So
yeah.
the next question from Nikunj Binani sir.
Hmm.
How to decide the number of bore lock for a particular site?
Yeah. I discuss here is a structure, okay, like a building, maybe small or a high-rise buildings. Okay, so there are the the codes, Indian codes are also there, standards are also there. Okay, latest code. I mentioned that IS 16700, particularly for the tall structures. Okay, minimum 3 boreholes should be required. If the area covered is 50 meters square minimum. Okay, if it is more, then additional 1 or 2 boreholes should be provided for each building. Even there are the wings, but wings are separated, then they should be increased. And these are all the minimum. Okay, one should always go for the more. Generally, we recommend for the 5 boreholes. And when there is a shore system, we also ask them to provide additional bore close to the shore system, because there is a heterogeneity and variations is large. So additional boreholes are also necessary. 3 is the minimum criteria, but one should go small structure, low rise structure, minimum 3, high rise structure, you should go for 4 to 5.
Okay.
Thank you.
So now the next question is how to strengthen the foundation of an existing building when more floors are added at a later stage.
This is something from construction point of view. First thing is that from strengthening point of view, from geotechnical point of view, we have a grouting techniques, we have a micropiles, okay. On surrounding the existing foundation, you can have a additional micropiles, okay, less than 300 diameter, okay. So they will definitely protect the system, okay, the excessive settlement or the tilting especially. Okay. Similarly, at the top levels, you can have a small cuts and have a grouting also. Okay. The different types of groutings are available. Special groutings are very useful. Okay. So these techniques are available. From foundation point of view, micropiles is the one of the best.
Okay. There is one question from Ajay Ingole, sir. This is regarding the dispute, I think. What would be the option for the anchor if adjacent structure detail is not available or adjacent owner not permit for anchor?
Yeah, good question. There are two sub questions. Okay, first question: when adjacent structural details are not available. Okay, nowadays there are the many good techniques available called as NDT testings. Okay, in NDT testing called as a parallel seismic method is there. In that you made a small hole you can make. Okay, insert the pipe or probe. Okay, and you can have the waves generated through that, and you can find out a log, and from that you can decide where the foundation is. Okay, this technique is recently included by Mr. Vaid, the renowned geotechnical engineer and expert in the NDT. This firm called as Geodynamics. Okay, so that is the one way to detect the old foundation depths. Okay. Second thing is that if they are not allowing, or even we feel that there is a possibility of the damage, we have a strut on opposite side. Don't use the anchor, but you can support from the free side, means excavation side. Just like in a metro, I showed the earlier one figure. Okay, you can have a struts, at least, but spacing should be at least 4 to 5 meter because the mobility is reduced. The strut will solve the same problem because it takes the same reactions. Okay, and the question sometimes comes to the cost, but they can be reused in the different projects also.
Okay. So there is another question from Professor Jagta. Where can we find data for soil types or soil properties for sea floors in different regions?
Talking about the sea floors.
Yes.
Sea floors, question is to get the data, to find the data, or how to get the
Find data for soil type.
So earlier also I discussed that the investigations is one of the most important tool, and it is possible with the help of the Jacob platforms or pontoon platforms. Extensive drilling can be done, and you should go to the hard rock. You should pass through the bed levels. Okay, take the necessary boreholes. Okay, and then you should have a proper testing, and this is done by our Mumbai based many companies. Okay, the big companies available, like earlier our friend DB Mahajan, he has done a lot of this seabed details. Even we have MNC companies in Navi Mumbai also, they are doing it. And latestly, in the latest, this our Trans Harbor Link project, that is Shivdi Navaseva. Okay, they have done the large investigation in the sea. Okay, so all these data is available. Even you can have a visit also with the proper consultation with these people, and data wise, maybe initially it is in confidential part, but it is possible to get it. And another project like here, a new project has it is started like in a Nariman Point. What is that called? We have earlier presentation on that coastal road projects. Okay, so they have also done some detailed investigations. Okay, MCJM is yes, they are coastal road project department. They are helpful. Mr. Thomre is there. He is a very helpful person. Even he can have some seminar in that part also in your institute. So it is possible if you have a proper contact.
Okay, sir. There is one more question from a
Yeah.
participant, ETCE 538. What is the costing of secant piles in Mumbai region per meter?
Costing, I don't have much detail because two things. I am in a consultant and I have as a high-rise member in Thane and Mumbai. Generally, we do not it, because it varies. First thing with the diameter, because 300 pile has a very less value to 1.2 meter diameter is having a very high value, because high value may goes to the even 20 to 30,000 also per meter, or maybe like that if it is a 1.2 meter. Lower may be very less value. Exact detail I can give it from these consultants.
Okay, so one more question from
Yeah.
Professor Pandey. How
Yeah.
can group effect in pile group be identified for offshore construction?
Effect in a pile foundation for offshore construction.
Construction.
Okay. See, the offshore constructions, when it comes, the additional requirements are there for the stability point of view. And those additional requirement counts in the additional pile, maybe a supporting piles, like rake up piles, okay, the fender piles. Otherwise, the basic the design for that offshore and the onshore, except the stresses are different. Okay, that can be obtained. But nowadays, with the use of this software, very sophisticatedly like a Plaxis and Abacus, we can determine the number of piles. But only thing is that the most important is the accurate investigation and the testing, because entire thing depends upon the parameter. Once you know the load, if I and a designer always find out the single pile capacity, keeping the minimum center to center distance up to 0.5 meters center to center, then we can find out the number of piles. In addition to that, these fender piles, support piles are given for these additional stresses.
Okay, sir. So I think we should take the last question. There are many questions popping out. Looking at the time constraint.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
the very last question is, what is the tension leg platform?
These are mostly the offshore. We call it that TLG. The in offshore, these are required particularly during the casting of this pile foundation in the offshores. Okay, so they are the like a jackup also, and those piles goes to the seabed and the rock, and on the top these piles are taken and the whole platform is constructed. Okay, so that is a TLG. Okay. And their analysis is totally different than our regular pile, because they are mostly inclined, subjected to the both the lateral as well as the uplift. The uplift is the most important, because entire water body with the waves, okay, try to take the system displaced horizontally as well as the upward. Okay, so therefore that offshore platforms, tension like platforms are usually designed, particularly this offshore system. Okay, these are slightly a different techniques to use.
Okay. I think you have each and every participant are satisfied with the explanation. We have provided it very well. The
Thank
clarification
you.
was very good, sir.
Thank you.
And I thank you for this informative session. It was a pleasure to listen to your expertise on Pile Foundation. We'll be looking forward to the interaction with you further in the
Yes,
future.
definitely. Yes, definitely.
Thanks a lot again from the entire team and all the participants.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
I also thanks to all organizers for the AP Shah Institute who are constantly inviting me for this. Last time also I deliver on another ground improvement technique in the institute. Okay, so I'll be definitely happy. Another call I want to give is that your staff member should be a member of our Geotechnical Society Mumbai chapter, Indian Geotechnical Society. So I will encourage them that they should register and participate in our mostly monthly lectures. Okay, recently we had a lecture on coastal roads, and future we are planning for the site visits. So everything is free, and if you have a life membership, everything available on our website, IGS Mumbai chapter. Okay, it is just the 1800 life membership. Okay, it will be beneficial for all of you. With this,
Thank,
thank you very much.
thank you, sir. Thank you for the invitation. We will definitely register for this IGST. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.